Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade and this is How to App on iOS. And today we have the voice of Healing Savanna Woods is on the show and I'm so excited. Hope you are too, so kick back for the next couple of hours. It's going to be wild times. We're going to kick off with one of her tracks called Tame the Dark. Goosebumps. Can you see them? Look at that. You got to love when music does that to you, my friends. Welcome to the show. This is How to App on iOS. My name is Jade. It's Friday morning here in Australia. It's the end of the week, and it's my favourite time of the week because I get to have a wonderful guest on the show, and this one's super special because I have been a fan of this artist since 2020. I was perusing Facebook, avoiding all of the weird conspiracy theories during COVID, and came across this awesome group on Facebook and found this artist there playing away, as we all were, in empty rooms to nobody, but to amazing communities. And we're going to get to hang out with her very shortly, so I'm very excited. Good to see all of you here in the chat. I hope you're all doing well, yeah? Please share it out, do the likey stuff and all that. Help us get some people in here to check out our wonderful artist today. And in the meantime, I can tell you about, you guessed it, today's sponsor, and that is DistroKid. Folks, have you considered releasing your music? Well, the folks at DistroKid make it very, very easy for you to do so because you can release all of your music for the very, very low price of $22.99 a year. That's it. One price. Pay it, just release all your music, unlimited songs, all that jazz. And you get one artist to do so, unlimited songs, unlimited lyrics. You can add your lyrics, you get a Spotify check mark, create royalty splits. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Access to 21 free tools to market yourself and get people to listen. You get a mobile app for free if you want to upload your music that way, which is great for people in this community who a lot of us use mobile apps and stuff like that. So it all works out really good. They have 3 tiers to sign up with. Musician, which is $22.99 a year. Musician Plus, where you get 2 artists if you're a greedy person, and that's $39.99 a year. Or the one I use, the Ultimate, $89.99. And I have, you know it, 6 artists or 7. I can't remember how many bands I'm in at the moment, but that's the one I use. And if you sign up to DistroKid using my code, which is over there, see in the corner, the lonely little thing in the corner, or in the description, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, you will get 7% off your first year to make it a little bit easier on your coinage. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, DistroKid. As always, couldn't do it without you. You've been a sponsor of this show for 2 years now, so thank you so much. We'll hear a little bit more about DistroKid as we go on. You know the drill, folks who are here in the chat. I'll normally reach out to you, say hello after about the 30-minute mark, but thank you all for being here. It's time. Let's bring her on. Today's special guest is an amazing artist who I found, as I said, back in 2020, I do believe, and did some research recently and found out a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even know because I just fell in love with her music. But let's bring her on. This is Savanna Woods. Let's do it. I think I've got everything good. How you going?
Hi.
Welcome, and thank you so much for spending some time here on the show and coming on and doing this. Thank you so much. You're doing well?
Yeah, my pleasure. Yes, thanks for having me on. I'm doing very well.
Awesome, because you have been a busy bee and just got back from a tour of the UK. Please tell us all about that and how did it go? Where did you play? What were the crowds like? Please indulge.
It was great. It was a lot. It was great. I've done a lot of tours, so I travel a lot and I usually stick some shows in. And the way I usually tour is I play a show, then I have, a few days to travel and hang out, and then another show. This is my first time I actually hired a tour booker to test that out. And so I told him how I like to tour, and instead he booked me every single day for 2.5 weeks, which is fine. It was just a new experience. So it was like a proper tour where, you wake up, drive, 5 to 7 hours to a new town, you play, you drink beer, you fall asleep, you wake up and you do it again. And it was amazing. I toured the whole entire UK from the bottom to the top, all the way, from Hastings on the south coast or west coast, all the way up to Edinburgh in Scotland and everywhere in between. It It was awesome. All the like from tiny acoustic cafe gigs to big pub gigs to big venue gigs to every night was different. And it was so much fun. And I got to see so much of the country. I drove probably 2,500 miles on the other side of the road. Do you guys drive on the left side or the right side?
We drive on the opposite to you. Yeah.
To me? Oh,
Everything's upside down here because we're underneath.
Yeah, so your toilet's flush the other way.
No.
I always remember that from childhood.
It's not
Is that
true.
a myth?
It's not true, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just remember that as a kid. Okay, that's funny. Well, debunked.
Yeah. I remember I saw it on The Simpsons and was like, really? Is that the case? Let me check. No, it's not true. But we tell people it's true because we like to confuse people here in Australia because we're like, this is a really good country. So we tell people they're like, especially Americans, we say we have this thing called drop bears. So if you've ever heard of that, and we tell them that if you walk through the bush, you have to always look up because these bears drop down and will land on your head. It's not true. It's not true. It's a lie.
Oh, that's funny though.
We just try and keep people out of our country because we're idiots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, things, poisonous bugs and animals or.
Yeah, we have all of that stuff. We have everything kills you here in Australia. Oh, we've got a frozen camera.
Hold on. Oh, okay. I think my Wi-Fi glitched.
You back? You back? Yeah. Nearly everything here in Australia will kill you. So.
That's what I hear. Here in Washington, there's like nothing that will kill you.
It's not that bad. Like there's only a few species of spiders and snakes. So the rest will just bite, but they don't. It's one of those things that we say just to kind of scare people. You just
people away.
People like a good yarn. So for people wanting to book a tour and stuff like that, now you said this is the first time you went overseas with a booker because you've got a lot of experience traveling and this is not your first rodeo. How is it like? How did you get into like going overseas and doing all this kind of stuff? Because for a lot of artists, it's probably very overwhelming to, plan a tour, like go overseas, get your tickets, book hotels. There's a lot that goes into it. So how did you get into doing it yourself before moving to a booker?
Well, I just started traveling initially. I was for some reason drawn to Iceland. I was probably like 20 years old and I felt this pull to the country and I ended up booking tickets 2 weeks before I left. And it was my first global solo travel. And that trip really changed my life. I had never traveled globally, let alone by myself. And it kind of just woke me up to life. At that time, I wasn't even doing music full time, or I was maybe, just kind of in a life of comfortability, but not like living my passions. Just something about that trip really woke me up. And I realized this is what I want to live, on the edge of creation. I want to be a co-creator in my life and not waste any more time. So I went home, moved out of the house I was in and the relationship, and went kind of just all into what I wanted to do, which was traveling and playing music. So I've since then traveled probably like 27 countries or so. And amongst my travels, a lot of times my traveling would be respite from my home life because I perform like so much at home and full time. So I would travel and kind of like reset, regroup, and write my music, reflect on myself. And then I started kind of maybe oftentimes when I'm traveling, I've got my guitar and I'll end up picking up shows while I go, or making connections for the next time. My first kind of patchwork tour that I did was, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I don't remember time, but it was with my sisters and I booked us a tour over there. And I kind of just call it a patchwork tour because I just kind of put it together through, we're so blessed to have technology, it's a blessing and a curse, but it really connects us and gives us so much abilities to do really anything we want.
Yeah.
So using the power of the internet, I discovered I think how I created this tour was through couch surfing. No, sorry, not couch surfing, sofa concerts. There's a
Oh
website in
yeah, I've
Europe they
seen
use
that.
called sofa concerts. Yeah. And I don't know if they use that in Australia. They don't really use it in the US. But it shows a kind of a map, and it has little pins. You can find an area, and it shows you like people in their homes can turn their homes into venues, or like put on backyard shows, or there's actually a lot of venues on sofa concerts. And so using that website, I got connected and kind of put together a tour. Like I went to like Spain and Scotland and Italy. But really, it's, to me, to be successful in doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing it, it all comes down to like connections, human connection. And you can't just all of a sudden snap your fingers and you're like, touring the world. Like, it all takes just a commitment to your passion, I guess, and doing things not for the result of it. So in my travels, I've just met so many people, and just because I love to do it. But the byproduct of that is I'm making a global network of friends and connections and venues that then I can return to later. And like a lot of these, like in November, I'm going to go back and tour like the UK and Spain, playing in Spain, a connection that I had made 5 years ago in Spain. And now he has this other venue. So it's just planting little seeds all the time and just really connecting with human beings. And that's just, I don't know how I do it.
Yeah, look, we're so blessed with the internet, if you're using it correctly. I remember when I was a kid and playing in bands, we didn't have the internet. Listen to me, I'm yelling at clouds now, but we didn't have the internet. And I remember so many bands here in Australia who got this cockamamie idea that's like, oh, we're doing okay here. Let's just go to Europe and just do a whole tour. And it's like, nobody knows you there though. And they come back completely broke and just like, that was the worst decision we ever made. It's like, but it's about networking. It absolutely is. And we have the tools now to do that, which, is a blessing.
Yeah, the tools. And it's, it's a lot about investment of time and energy. Because, when it's like, oh, I'm going on tour, people are like, wow, did you make so much money and playing sold out shows? It's like, no, first of all, you never tour to make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if people, unless you are humongous, rarely are you making money in a tour. It's like for the experience and the connection of it and the networking. Now I played all these new venues that like I said, I'm going to go back in the fall to keep establishing myself over there, because now people are starting to know me because I've put my time and energy and invested that into something new. Now I have all these new friends and fans over there that I wouldn't have had before. And yeah, I lost money, but it's a freaking piece of paper. I gained so much experience and fun in the process. And to me, that's all that really matters.
Absolutely. It leads me to my first main question for today. Savanna Woods, what does music mean to you?
I mean, music means healing, like we kind of mentioned earlier. Music is healing. Music is expression. Music is the song of the soul, of my soul. Everybody's kind of self-expression is different. And mine just happens to be music. So music is the way that I connect and that I heal and that I express. Yeah, music is my heart's language, I would say. And everybody's is different, but I feel like art as a whole is such a big connecting tool. It connects, whether you know a person or know anything about them, art can connect you in this deep way. Like I can write about things that I'm feeling, however specific they are. And whether you've gone through the same thing, people can connect with me on an emotional level, because everybody has felt these emotions as well. Sadness, happiness, heartbreak, loss, gratitude, whatever it is. And you feel that and you don't feel so alone. And then you connect with me, I connect with you, and then it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And we were talking like again at the start, because I've been a fan of yours before I'd done any research on you. And I try not to do too much research on people because then I know everything and I like finding out while I'm talking to you. And when I named the show The Voice of Healing, I played on the words on The Voice, which we'll talk about later. But I chose healing because I've been listening to your music. And that's what I got from your music. And then I watched an interview last night and you were just talking about healing and stuff. And I'm like, bang, see, if you listen to artists' words, you can get an idea of who they are and what they stand for and what they believe and what they don't like. And do you think people listen to words these days and get the right meaning?
I mean, both and, like, yes and no. When I was first writing a lot, I mean, I've always been writing, but when I first started performing a lot and getting very vulnerable with my music, something that made it easier for me was realizing that a lot of people don't actually listen to the words. They're kind of just picking up the gist of the song, the feeling, but the melody and blah, blah, blah. And then as I go on, really diving into my authenticity, and now it's like, I don't care. I'm very vulnerable and expressing myself and what I'm feeling. I noticed that there are a lot of people who do listen to the words of music. And especially nowadays, something that's coming back a lot, I noticed, is like this kind of bluegrassy root storytelling vibe in music. Like people are really enjoying the words of songs. But I think another thing that's unlocked, something for me was realizing that music or not, people are always going to hear what they want to hear, perceive what they want to perceive. So I could say something and mean one thing, and they're going to hear it and perceive it through their own perception filters, however they need to hear it, however they, want to hear it. And that's also like how people, view you. Like you can try to be whoever you want to be, but at the end of the day, they're going to see what they want to see. And so it kind of unlocks this like, perfectionism thing. Like it doesn't really matter. Just do you, be you, express you, and people are going to do what they want with it. Yeah. So I think people do listen to the words, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because they're going to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, it's always interesting interviewing people because sometimes I say, tell us about the song. What's it about? And then I think sometimes I shouldn't do that because then you're laying what you have for that song. And there may be somebody out there who's been listening to that song already for maybe 3 years, and they have this completely other meaning for it that means so much for their heart. And then you've just squashed it and gone, no, it's actually about this. And they're like, what? But
yeah.
So
I know, isn't that interesting? But, it can have layers of meanings. There can be I was actually just having a conversation with someone before this, sort of on the songwriting topic, but you can have songs are not, I write them, but I would say I'm more of a channel for them. My emotions and what I'm going through is a direction for the channel to go through, but the songs are birthed through me to reach people however they want it, however they need it, basically. So I could say what inspired me to write the song, but I wouldn't say 100% this is what the song is about and that is final.
Yeah.
It's like, that's my layer, that's my flavor, that was the inspiration. But what came through is, infinite.
Yeah,
it connects infinitely.
You have fun with it now. I've finished it. I've released it. You do with it what you want to.
It's like having a kid.
Yeah, well, except it takes
through, and then it's like, all right, let's see what you do.
Except it takes about 15 to 18 years to have to get rid of them. But anyway.
Yeah, that's why I write songs instead.
Wise choice, let me tell you. Mars Capone asks, tell us about that sexy guitar behind you.
Ooh, good question. It is called a Jade. Honestly, I'd never even heard of that guitar brand, and I will sadly say I rarely play it. I had a friend, I was recording at a studio and this guitar was sitting down there and I saw it and I thought, oh my gosh. I asked him, I said, is that your guitar? And he's like, yeah, but I'm selling it. Do you want it? He goes, I'll take $200. And I was like, sold. It's gorgeous.
Hey.
And honestly, it's been a wall ornament ever since, which I'm so sad to say. I need to change. I've never changed the strings. I have had this thing for like 8 years on my wall. And it is really cool. It's got the little, gosh, what is it called? It's not a whammy bar. It's a oh, it's on the tip of my brain.
There's guitarists here who I would
you
still
tell
call
me
it a
in the
whammy
comments.
bar.
I would too, but I've been corrected that it's not exactly a whammy bar. But anyway, yeah, I love the guitar. I don't play it as much as I should. I don't know why. Because I'm surrounded by acoustic guitars. I have a classical right here on the wall, and then I have an acoustic right there on the wall. And I guess the laziness of being an American, just kidding. But it's so easy to just grab it, and start playing. This one, it's so heavy, I pick it up and then I have to turn on my amp and I got to plug it in. A Bigsby. Yeah, thank you.
There we go. See, I've learned something too. And I'm a guitarist. I should know that. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's just slightly different. Like it's moving I don't know. It's just different. I'm not even going to get into it because I'm probably going to, the bendy thing. Thank you, Thomas.
Exactly. Thanks, Thomas. You rock. So, Savanna, do you recall the music that was played in your household growing up by your parents? And if so, who were some of the artists that your parents played?
Yeah, I like that question because usually that's what I end up going to when I get asked a lot, like, what are your inspirations? Who do you listen to? And I don't. And I know that's super weird. And I never have. So I think the inspirations or I don't know, things that I absorbed was growing up. My mom listened to artists like Dido, Norah Jones, Melissa Etheridge, Enya, like that sort of thing. And then my dad would listen to more of like old standards. My dad honestly listened to more of like talk radio all the time. But he is a musician himself. So he was always playing music. We have a grand piano up in the house and he would always be playing his own music that he wrote or like old standards or classics. Like I think his favorite song or what he thinks is one of the greatest songs of all times. He was just telling me the other day was Rainy Day in Georgia, Rainy Night in Georgia. I think it's called that. Anyway, just that older stuff. And then my mom like kind of that current. And I would say, honestly, without intention, because I didn't personally listen to it, but I think it really did shape my style a bit. Because I ended up picking up, like a lot of people end up saying that my voice is like a mix of I usually get Janis Joplin, Alanis Morissette, Norah Jones, or Melissa Etheridge, and a little Amy Winehouse. Those are usually the artists that I get, mashed up and made a pudding, and then the pudding's named Savannah.
It's interesting, we share a very common interest. When I was young, and still now, I listen to a lot of talkback. I can't go to sleep to music. I have to have people talking, and I put YouTube on every night and find a video that may be an hour long with some kind of conversation. And all my friends and ex-partners would just be like, can you turn that shit off with people talking? It's fucking annoying. And I was always like classed as a weirdo for not, I listen to music, of course, but I like hearing voices. It soothes me.
Me too. Honestly, I do like listening to music, but it's weird. I don't. I kind of, and I never really have. I have a very busy mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to audiobooks and like podcasts all the time. Like I'm listening to an audiobook like all day long.
Yep.
While I'm doing my work, cleaning the house, driving, I drive a job. And people always think that's super weird that I don't listen to music, but I liken it too. I always say like, do you think that a carpenter works all day and wants to come home and build shelves? No.
Yeah.
I need I love music and it's amazing and it's my life. But I need a respite from, like, that is my job and I love it. It's my passion. But when I'm not doing that, it would be, I need something different. I love to listen to people talking. I love conversations. I love podcasts. I used to listen to just YouTube videos all the time, learning different things. And I love a good series, audiobook series.
Totally.
Really get lost.
And look, I worked as a chef. I know that for many years I worked as a chef, and I would cook fantastic food all day long and then come home and have a meat pie with baked beans on it. And people go, you eat such shit at home. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm in front of it. I don't want to go home and cook. Are you crazy? Like,
exactly.
It's the worst.
Yep. See, you feel it.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's play a song and then we'll come back and continue on. I'm just choosing at random like I always do. I'm going to play puzzle pieces. So let me cue this up and we'll come back afterwards and talk about what album that was on. We'll do that afterwards. So folks, chill out, relax, throw some emojis around. We'll give you a shout out after we come back from this track. This is Savanna Woods and Puzzle Pieces. Let's oja.
Last night I had a dream. We were dancing in the kitchen, moving a gypsy jazz, red wine in position. You took my hand in yours and whispered in my ear, we're pieces of the same puzzle, my dear. I love being loved, but I don't love where it ends. But I think that you get it, maybe we shouldn't sweat it. I just want to see where this goes, he said. Who do you think will do the most damage? It's a stalemate, I suppose. And I said, life is a ride, not a kiddie slide. I just want to see where this goes. I love being loved, but I don't love where it ends. But there's something about the way that you make me laugh. I don't think we can just be friends. Last night I had a dream. We were dancing in the kitchen, moving a gypsy jazz, red wine in position. You took my hand in yours and whispered in my ear, we're pieces of the same puzzle, my dear. Don't know how to put these feelings in words. It's like a bonfire in my belly or a soaring flock of birds. So I guess that I do, and probably so do you. 'Cause for the first time someone might understand that I'm not a typical give it all up kind of girl. I've got a lot of goals and a lot to do in this world. And some people, they say that they get it, but really they're just hoping that I'll change. Forget it. 'Cause I love being loved, but I don't love where pages, red wine in position. You took my hand in yours and whispered in my ear, we're pieces of the same puzzle, my dear.
Yeah! Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Let me say hello to everybody who's here in the chat. We'll do some call outs now. Folks, you know the drill. Let me know that you're here so I don't have to do some scrolling. Make my life easy. You know what I'm saying? Limey Rednecks in the house. Many vibes. Hello, Vibey. Rise of Dark Leela, Hugh Caldwell, Leanie Perez. Hello, Legs 11. Ali's in the house. Mars Capone. Thomas Christ is here. Mr. Smith. Dave Fox. Rise of Dark Leela. Did I already say that? I think I did. Tremor Bear, hello to you. Let me scroll down, make sure I got people. Hugh Caldwell, what's going on with the clappies? Clapping going on. Hey, good to see you all. If you want to shout out, you know the drill. Yeah, the drill. Yeah, Leela, the drill. And there's the Kim Hudden Hudson. Hello, Kimmy. Russ8889. What's going on? Good to see you all. You all doing good? You all having a good time? Because we've got plenty of great music coming up. And I'm going to hit you with this question. Oh, look, tell us about that album, because is that a few years old, that album?
Yes. It is a few years old, probably. Again, not good with the timelines, but that would be not my last album, my last personal album, but the one prior. It's called Home. And that one, I think it's more of an EP. It's got about 6 songs on it, but puzzle pieces I love. Yeah, so I got a lot of different stuff. So yeah, that's the one, Home. Puzzle Pieces is probably that's a crowd favorite. I love that song too. It's probably, I don't have too many like lovey songs. That one's kind of more optimistic lovey. But I like that song. That's a nice one. But yeah, titled after one of my songs called Home.
It's a beautiful song. Let's continue on and ask you, do you remember the first album that you purchased with your own pocket money as a kid? Well, I know it was probably an audiobook. What am I saying? Or what about the first album you were given as a gift?
Well, so I'm thinking it was probably Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Arctic Monkeys. And I can't, oh gosh, Fluorescent Adolescence? Is that the name of the album?
I think it is.
I think that might have been it, like Marty Baum and stuff. So I didn't listen to music, but if I did, there was a period in middle school where I had a couple really good friends who were, really hip on the music scene, and like what was like at that time, Arctic Monkeys was hip, it was more big in the UK, and yeah, that might have been it. Yeah, I loved their older stuff, so I listened to a lot of Arctic Monkeys. And that was it. Yeah, you expanded. I recognize that. Yeah, that's the one on the very right. Yeah, the orangey, or my right, your left, probably. Y'all went over that one. That cover. I remember that cover. I was gifted that album, I remember, because I loved them so much. I think I bought the album digitally, or maybe I can't remember. It was a while ago, but I remember playing that album quite a bit.
I don't remember what I did yesterday.
I know. I'm like, oh gosh. What day is today? I don't know.
It's a memory test. Now, you are such a really talented singer. Did you go through lessons? Like, I love this question. At school, were you forced to play the recorder like the rest of us?
Yes, in elementary school, yes. We all had to get our recorders, but I was born, I mean, honestly, I have been singing as long as I have been speaking.
Right.
I had been singing right out of the womb. I was born into a musical family. My dad sings, my grandpa sang. So my dad got us all singing right away, but I was already kind of naturally inclined. I started writing songs at like the age of 4, and so I've just always been doing it. So I guess it's like 30 years of vocal experience, but I started performing at a very young age as well. So having the influence of my dad, and he was always very pitch oriented, so that helped as well. Could call us out if we're flat or something. And I say us because I grew up singing with my sisters. So I have many siblings, but 3 of us grew up in the household together. So me and my 2 sisters, we all sing, and we grew up singing together, harmonizing and all of that. So that helped a lot as well. And then getting to, middle school and high school, and I always did all of the choirs. There was, in high school, there was like women's choir, chamber choir, jazz choir, studio voice, which was like helping us with songwriting. I did like all the musicals from when I was little all the way to graduating high school. I did a lot of musicals just for the singing part, really. My parents claimed I was a good actress, but I don't know. I think I was mainly just a good singer. So yeah, going through all that, I never had any vocal lessons. It was just the help of my dad. And then coming into high school, I had an amazing music teacher who did like my choirs, all my vocal classes and stuff. And I attribute a lot to him as well. Because, in your voice, you have kind of, your chest range and your mix, and then there's like your head voice up there. And when I was in high school, like I'd really developed this part of my voice, but up here, it was I couldn't barely, it was like not existent. And that teacher through high school really helped me to like really develop my voice and give me tips and techniques. And he would make me sing like entire songs in front of the class. I remember vividly making me sing Amazing Grace up here, like Amazing Grace, and it was like so embarrassing. And he's like, you hate me now, but you are going to thank me one day, like every day. When you can get that, when you can bridge the gap between like when I was young, it was like
Yeah.
And it just was not. And now literally the reason I can sing the way I can is because of that. Like when I'm wailing, a lot of the stuff you've played is kind of my singer-songwritery stuff, but I have a rock band called Eden. And that's a lot of more high wailing, like singing really, really high, basically. And that's come from expanding my mix range and bridging that gap. And literally, I thank him every day. He was so right. So I attribute a lot to him and my dad, but no, never had lessons, just 30 years of experience.
I used to teach singing, and it's really hard because you get people coming in and they have an idea of what they want to sing. And you say, and one of the songs I'd go to with the first lessons would be Georgia on My Mind, because it covers every note within the scale. And then you can find your octave, you can find your key, and there's so many versions of it and so many keys of it. You're going to be good. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I used to teach for vocal lessons was health and eating properly and hydrating and getting enough sleep, because I think with a lot of lessons, people forget that you're a living instrument. Like you have to be well. If you're not well, you'll sound like dog shit. And it's one of the things I think that's lacking with vocal lessons. Everyone's so focused on technique, and that's all great, of course. But, if you're not treating yourself well, then you're going to sound like shit, no matter how well you're trained.
Yeah, definitely important to treat your instrument well. I used to smoke a lot, from going to Europe when I was young. I got onto like the rolly cigarettes and spliffs and all that. I still love a good spliff, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not all day, every day. That was not good for my instrument. And so getting off that habit was very helpful. Very helpful. And doing like teas. I have a big like 32-ounce thermos, and I'll bring that to shows and the rest. And I treat my instrument as well as I can. Yeah, see, you get it.
Yes. Always by my side.
Yeah. Yeah, super helpful. And warming up, like I never used to do that because it's like, oh, I'm naturally good, it's fine. But honing, oh my gosh, my Wi-Fi, I think I have Starlink, so like they tell me like every so often a satellite will get blocked.
Yeah, and
So sorry.
there's been solar storms. We've been through some of the biggest geomagnetic storms in history recently. So
That's what I've been hearing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Starlink got hit really hard. So thanks,
Oh
Elon.
shit. Well, sorry if I keep cutting out.
No, it's all good.
Blame whatever his name is, Tesla.
It's all good. What was your first band that you were in? Do you remember the name of it?
Oh yeah, Waking Maya.
Waking Maya. What's the story behind that name?
Yeah, so I started the band when I was, I don't know, 18 or so, and it was with a couple like middle-aged dudes from my church. They were jamming out, and they were like, "Hey, we need a singer." And I came in, and that was kind of my first experience with like collaborative songwriting and really just all of the stuff I'm doing now. But we were kind of very spiritually minded group, and so finding a name took forever. A band name can be hard.
Yeah.
But Maya means the illusions of reality, you know, this illusion of reality. And so Waking Maya is kind of like waking to that illusion. As a group, you know, we were kind of collectively and consciously waking to the illusion of this reality and just being very intentional with our experience. And that was a really fun band. I actually just came from lunch with my the guy who invited me into that band. Really great lifelong friend. He was the drummer of the group, and that band evolved for many years with different members, and over time until I went on The Voice is when I finally dropped Waking Maya as like a brand, like as a band brand. I just kind of went into, I finally had the kind of confidence and self-awareness and to just brand myself and kind of step out from behind that kind of band shield, because really Waking Maya was me at that time. It kind of evolved into that, and so I kind of dropped that and just went with my name. I've created bands since then, but that was like the original band that birthed me into this industry.
And I'm so glad that you have broken out and gone on your own, and you created your own brand, because it is a brand. And we'll get to The Voice. We'll cover that in a second. Now, I found this other video clip. I know you sent me a whole bunch of songs, but I'm going through your stuff, and I found a video clip for a song called Queen of Hearts. What is that?
Good question. I love that song. That's like my dad's favorite song of mine. So that is a song that I wrote in, I think I was in the countryside of France, and I had just gotten done traveling I traveled 2 months with this French man who was like 15 years older than me. We met on my first trip to Iceland. And honestly, we had maybe like 4 hours together. And in my young mind I was like, oh, totally. Like, I'm in love with this dude, or, you know, or I totally know I'm going to enjoy spending time with him at least. So we booked this 2-month backpacking trip together. We did not get along, but at this time I was young. I wasn't able to say no or like go off on my own, and not like in like a bad way. I couldn't say no. I just like was like, all right, just rolling with the punches. So we traveled 2 months together, 18 countries, and it was great. He really showed me the continent, and it was wonderful. But you know, we were very culturally different. Everything just wasn't, you know, what I fantasized in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, for some reason, went back to travel with him again in the countryside of France. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just need to go home. This is done. And while we're not getting along, one night over dinner, he decides to propose to me, which is like, what the heck? I'm literally, yeah, I know.
What?
I was like 21 and he was like 15 years older than me, and we weren't getting along, and I kind of laughed. I was like, no, like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I, you know, he was bummed, but I was like, absolutely not. Like, no. No. And then, you know, he was bummed, and then I felt bad making him feel bad, but, you know, sticking to my guns. And I went to sleep that night, and in my dream this song came to me, the melody. And I've never had a song come to me in a dream. And it was basically like, I remember like my dad and I were at a wedding and we had to pick a tarot card and then perform a spontaneous song inspired by that tarot card. And the one I picked was Queen of Hearts. And I remember the melody came to me, or I woke up with that melody in my head. And I wrote the song, I woke up and was like, oh my God. And so that's the chorus of the song, and wrote the verses. It all happened super quickly. But kind of the essence of the Queen of Hearts, card is about emotional maturity and that wisdom to know what is best for your heart and what is best for you, because ultimately it's most likely what's best for the whole situation. Like if I would have not had that Queen of Hearts internal wisdom and stuck to what I know is right for me and would like, yeah, let's get married, I would be like a super depressed housewife in France, not like living my dream, traveling the world and being like an independent single lady. So that's Queen of Hearts.
It's so weird because I saw the clip and was like, oh, you didn't send it to me. And I'm like, I just feel there's some kind of story behind it. So now we have to play it. I forgot
about it.
Now we have to play it.
Please.
So let's go, folks. You ready? Now that we've heard the story about the marriage proposal, let's get in. This is Queen of Hearts by Savanna Woods. Let's Oja.
Heartbreaker, hope slayer, smile is an icebreaker, warming the cold of your soul. She's a heartbreaker, truth saying, never be your savior, drawing on your potential. Goddess of love, queen of hearts, she plays your strings like a harp, filling you up a half-empty cup, and she dances to the beat of your heart. Yes, she dances to the beat of your heart, and she dances to the beat of your heart. Queen of Hearts, Queen of Hearts. She stands, they fall apart. Queen of Hearts. So she dances to the beat of your heart. Yes, she dances to the beat of your heart. And she dances to the beat of your heart. Queen of Hearts.
Oh, man, it doesn't even go long enough.
That one is super short.
It's one of my faves
Yeah.
too. Yeah, definitely one of my
Oh,
faves.
thank you. Yeah, I actually accidentally, when I recorded that version in the studio, got done and was like, what? I forgot half of the choruses. Like, I recorded it basically wrong. There's no mistakes and nothing's wrong, but that version is quite short. I actually am going to be re-recording that song soon because I have a really cool version with my fiddle player and the pianist, and it's like this very kind of haunting. Yeah.
It's beautiful. She's frozen there for a moment. She'll be back. Thanks, Elon, for the internet. We'll give her a second to come back. Should I do the?
Ah!
Hey, you're back. You're back.
Dang it, Starlink.
You Starlink. All right, so we've covered the early times briefly. We've listened to some music. So you're established. It seems like you know who you are. You understand your voice. You're starting to, you feel comfortable in your skin, and that's fantastic. A lot of artists don't know who they are. And then all of a sudden we're hit with this thing called, I like to call the inconvenience, a global pandemic, which for a lot of people it was absolute misery. A lot of people suffered financially. A lot of people lost their lives. But for a lot of people, namely artists, musicians, we were able to reset and just be able to stop the world from spinning for a moment to actually, like, I don't know, create some art and reach some people who maybe had some time to listen to us. And this was around the time I found you on Facebook on a group called what's it called? Social Distancing, is that what it is? Can't remember.
Socially Distant Fest.
Here we go, I'll find it. So what got you over there? Here it is.
So COVID happened, and one of my kind of mottos for success in my world is adaptability is key. You know, it's the key to success, adaptability, no matter what happens. And so I don't really mind when crazy stuff happens, because you just take a new route, shift your plan, like just adapt, you know? And a lot of my musician friends, everybody's like, oh no, live music's over. And it's like, no, it's not. You just have to find a new way. So I started live streaming, and I found these different groups like this, Socially Distant Fest. And they had just like, 100,000, I don't know how many members, tons of members from around the world. And so I started, I think it says 171,000
currently, yeah. It's amazing.
So members from around the world. So I had already been doing something called Wandering Wednesday for like 3-4 years before that. I started a video series because I travel a bunch, and no matter where I am in the world, I record a video on Wednesday and put it out. That's now since moved to Patreon. But during the COVID times, I started going live every Wednesday in Socially Distant Fest. And then I also added another one. I did Saturday sunset sessions, and I'd go live on my deck with the sun setting in the background. And then I'd go live every Wednesday in Socially Distant Fest. And that was such a blessing, honestly. I have such a network of people around the world that found me, that I found them through these online live streaming. And a lot of musicians I know too were like, oh, it's just not the same. I can't, it's just singing to a screen. But they didn't really, I think, try it enough, because for me, at least, I can feel if I'm just playing to a screen and I'm not live, it doesn't do anything for me. Once that live button goes and I can see there's 1, 2, 3, a few people on, even oftentimes I had, hundreds of people on, or just like 10. To me, it doesn't matter, but I can feel that energy exchange and interacting with the comments. And like, although, yeah, I'm just in my house by myself with a screen, I feel like I'm connected to all these people who are watching me. And it was so fun because it was like casual, but cool and fun. And I could play music and talk to them and take requests. And oh, it was so nice. And at that time, at least in the US, people were getting stimulus checks. So it was also financially nice because people were very generous, and like they would tip me as well. So I was able to still like make a bit of an income during this time while, you found me during that time. One of my last shows on my tour, I was in London playing, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play, this next song's called My Mistake. And I heard somebody go, yes, I love that song. Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, you know that song? And they were like, yeah, that's one of my favorites of yours. I've been watching you all through COVID, and I remembered them. Like, I genuinely connected with all the people who were connecting with me during that time. I was like, I totally remember you. Sam from London. She would wake up every time at 5 a.m. before she had to go to work so she could catch my streams because they were in another time zone. And just like those connections still like stick with me. I just went on tour in the US and stayed with another, I call him a good friend now, who I met through Socially Distant Fest. And so many of my patrons came from Socially Distant Fest. I just can't even say enough good things about, there's always beauty in hard times, and it's up to us to find it. And I really feel like in my life, I found a lot of beauty during this time of inconvenience.
Yeah, it has. Like, that's how this show got off the ground for me too. And, I got to we were locked down for 9 months and the government gave us money and I built this studio and was like, hey, I didn't start this channel to make money. I started this just to, I don't know, perform. And I was on Socially Distanced Fest too. That's how I got into this. I was playing gigs on Socially Distanced Fest and going, oh my God, I got like
sweet.
30 people and then 50 people watching. It's like, oh my God, maybe I should do this on YouTube. And and here we are.
That's awesome.
Let's do our ad sponsor, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the voice. So we'll do this now. So, folks, I'll keep you in the picture down here so I don't just cut you out. Where are we? iPad cam. All right. Today's show is actually sponsored by DistroKid. And twice a month, DistroKid sponsor me here on the channel, and I get to bring on wonderful artists like Savanna today, and you too can release your music through DistroKid at a very, very low price. So if you have ever dreamed of getting your music on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Tidal, all of them, there's so many, it's utterly ridiculous. Some of them you wouldn't have even heard of, right? And that's really cool. And rub shoulders with artists like Madonna and all your favorites. Your music's up there for the low price of $22.99 a year. Super cool, super cheap, and it's really easy to do. And if you use my code, which Thomas has just put in the chat here, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade Starr, if you click on that link and sign up using that link, from that link, then you'll get 7% off your first year on DistroKid. And I've been with DistroKid since way before they started sponsoring my show. I jumped ship from another provider who was ripping me off, and I've been with them for, I don't know, almost 10 years. It's crazy. So DistroKid is the way to go. And let me tell you, if there's a lot of people out here in the community who do collaborations, guess what? If you want to release music with collaborators, you can actually, this is free. This is a part of the service for all the tiers. You can actually do splits. So this is automatic royalty splits. You can choose one of your songs. Like I can go over here and pick a song, and then I can hit next, and I can send this to somebody. I can add a collaborator. So somebody else that who wrote the song with you. And you can add them to this list. Say it was somebody who mastered your song or somebody who played on your song, and you can send a percentage of that money that you make to an artist just by choosing the percentage that you like. You send an email to that artist. They click the email, they click the link, they get a code. They come back here, and down the bottom here, it says, got an invite code. You punch the code in, and then you two are signed up like this. If I show you my music here, if I scroll to the bottom, look at all these people I've collaborated with. Pete Johns, Razor and the Extreme, Andy Goldsby, Joe and Barry Glenn. Who else? I think that's all that's on here. So I've either mastered these people's music, or I've played drums on there, or whatever. So you can easily split the money. And then when the money comes in, which, let's face it, these days from Spotify is not much and all that, but it'll automatically get split between all of the artists. So that's just one of the many features that you get using DistroKid. Awesome stuff. Again, like to thank DistroKid for sponsoring the show. As always, I love you, DistroKid. Thank you so very much. Let's talk the voice. So for those of you who've been living in the Stone Age and don't know about things like reality television, American Idol, Big Brother, The Voice, these shows exist, right? And during the COVID era, now out of all of them, like I'm a big proponent. You've heard me. I talk about reality shows and think they're quite evil because the amount of people that get used up by them, especially American Idol, it's an Australian Idol, I feel, but that's me. But out of all of them, I think The Voice is one of the best because they actually always take artists who have talent and like get to showcase them. What possessed you to go, you know what, I'm already established. I know who I am. I'm going to throw my hand at The Voice. Had you done it once before? Have you tried to get on once before? Did you get on the first time? Tell us the process of getting on The Voice.
Well, so I actually, when I was probably 18, I did try out for The Voice randomly. I went with my sister to Nashville. It was just a silly kind of audition experience. You know, you're in lines with thousands of people and filtered into another room and another room and another room. And finally you're like standing there with 10 people and each person sings for like 5 seconds. And then this board of people's like, you know, everybody but you, nope, you didn't make it or whatever. And they were kind of like on the fence about me. And I ended up not even making it past the very first round, because there are many audition rounds before you even get to go to LA and have a shot at the blind audition. Like there's so many levels. So I didn't even at this point make it past. But at that time, I did not know myself at all as an artist. And I was kind of just banking on the fact that I was like a naturally good singer. Like I hadn't even prepared an audition or knew what I was going to sing until like the day of, like when I got there. It's like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of, I don't know what I did. I think Ain't No Sunshine or something. But yeah, like I said, I just didn't even know myself at that time yet. And to be successful in that show, you really need to know yourself to lose yourself. You know, I knew who I was, and that's kind of how I allowed them to market me, because it's all a big game. You know, they play you, you play them.
Yeah.
I was using them for exposure. They were using me for ratings. And it's like, that's fine. I was totally down to play the game, but I had to know myself before that whole experience. So like, I'm so glad it didn't work out when I was initially 18. But after that experience, I was like, okay, never doing this again. That was like hurting like cows. And it just, that I was not thrilled about the experience. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that again. I don't need to do that. Well, then here I am sitting in my little tiny house, which what you see is about half of my house. I live in a 10 by 20 feet box, a real tiny house. And so I'm locked in here and I get an email from The Voice that's like, you know, try out for The Voice. We're doing virtual auditions. And I thought, oh shit, well, you know, I have nothing better to do. If I could just, you know, bypass that whole audition experience that I had, which I did not enjoy, and I could just do it all from my phone. It was such an easier, better. Hold on, I'm making a bed for I have all my animals next to me too. My dog's looking at me like, can I come on the bed?
It's doggo time, folks.
It's doggo time. So you like made an audition time slot. And then once that time came, I just went live on my phone and sang like 30 seconds of a song. I think I sang Jolene, you know, and then I got an email. It's like, okay, you made it to the next round. Now you need to make these videos and submit them and all these like stipulations or whatever. So I did that. Then I made it to the next round. And it's like, you have to do all this stuff, you know. And then I got the call like, hey, you know, we want you to come to LA for a blind audition. And I was freaking stoked at this point, because totally. I knew in my heart that I know myself, and I just like, I'm really also just big into kind of creating your universe and holding your power. And I'm like a wonderful manifester. And I knew, because I had envisioned it so strongly, and I just knew myself. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting on TV. And all I wanted was one blind audition, because the whole reason I kind of did this was I had hit kind of a ceiling.
Yep.
Like I'm playing all the time, and it's like, God, what do I do to get to that next level? I just couldn't, I felt like I'd done all I could do, and I didn't know what else. And then I got the email from The Voice. And so I thought, oh my God, this is perfect. If I could just get one audition, just that audition on the screen, you know, and to actually get televised, that's millions of people seeing me sing in one freaking second. So that was my goal, and that was my direction, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And so it worked. I went to LA, and I got out of my little tiny house, and I lived in a hotel in LA for, probably a year, but it was 3 different experiences, because you go and you prepare like for a whole month before you even have your blind audition. And half the people who were there didn't even get to make it to the audition. And then most of the auditions don't even get televised.
Yeah.
So it was very amazing that I was able to walk that road all the way onto national TV. And then I ended up making it onto a team, and I came back months later to then record my battle, which is just a duet against somebody else on your team, which was really fun. So I did Zombie for my audition by the Cranberries, killed it. And then I did Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. And then I made it past that, but I almost didn't. So it's kind of a weird, game show thing. But I got Saved, which put me into a 4-way knockout. And that was the Black Hole Sun that you mentioned seeing. That was my last performance on The Voice, was Black Hole Sun. And if I would have won that 4-way knockout, it was going to be Barracuda. I had prepared everything for that, the performance, the choreography, and everything. So there is a recorded version of that. They did release my voice recording of Barracuda, but that one wasn't televised. So that was there's a gist of my voice journey.
It's interesting because, I only found out about your voice thing recently. Hey, doggo! I only found out recently because I was already a fan of your music. And then going back and then seeing The Voice was like, wow, they're marketing her like she's somebody else. Like, and the thing is, amazingly, you have a fantastic voice. So you're able to carry off the rock chick like an absolute diamond. But yeah, when I saw it, I'm like, wow, this is less woo-woo, more go-go in your face stuff. Was that, did they mold you that way? Because it's a complex thing. Like, I told you before this, I've worked in television and worked on things like Big Brother and a lot of these shows as behind the scenes in the accounts kind of department, and there's a lot of legalities about it. You got to sign your life away for this shit, and it's, and they want a story, and they manifest drama and stuff, and you're like, I'm just a fucking singer. Like, let me sing. What's going on? So how was all that turning out to be the rock chick, and did they slot you in there?
Well, yes and no. So like how you found me on Socially Distant Fest, when I'm just singing here with my guitar, you're going to hear a lot more of the woo-woo singer-songwriter stuff.
Yep.
To have that kind of energy, like I kind of need a stage, or I need a physical audience to just be like wailing, because I have it all within me. But I do, so I kind of already knew that I would be geared in that direction because there's not a lot of female vocalists who have the ability of that rocker side and the raspiness. But like, I didn't really intend on any of that because they pick your stuff at the end of the day.
Right.
They pick your outfits, they pick your songs. Like, I have an influence for sure. So like I was able to give like my top choices, and then they kind of pick. So it was both and, but like I could have taken the song and arranged it any way, like I could have taken Zombie and done a more chilled out version of it. But it's a competition show, and I knew that the most heavy hitting performance is going to be me maxing my voice out to its limits, which does come across a lot more in the rocker dynamic. And so it was a team effort of pigeonholing me. Wasn't intentional really, but like, as a TV show, they gotta have like, the country one, the mellow one,
yeah, of course.
In every area. And there wasn't really a rocker on the show. So I was like down to do that. I don't really care. Like, like I said, I'm using them, they're using me, and like, let's do this. And I knew that they'd want a story, and I gladly, like, I already knew what they would want. And so I just gave it to them. It's like, okay, I have a disabled mother and we foster kids. I'm like, here you go on a silver platter. And it was so funny because, they weren't able to come and the camera crew themselves. So they like send us equipment to do it ourselves. And me and my mom were just kind of having a gas with it because She's like, because she's so good about that. She's like, oh yeah, I use my disease as your excuse, like whatever. And so she's totally, totally good with it. So it's so funny, just being like there's a scene that because we sent them all this video footage, and they used, of course, the scene where I'm just fucking with her. I'm like, I like put her shawl around her shoulders. I'm like,
Oh my
here you go, mother. And I take her coffee and I feed it to her. And I said, oh, no, your arms don't work. Here you go. We're both laughing. And they used that clip.
Of course they did. Of
on
course
TV.
they did.
It was so funny. And yeah, so there definitely is like, they're trying to pull the drama, because we had tons of interviews. We would have like an hour-long interview, and they use like these little bits and chop them around. And there was one interview where it's the intensive interview where the interviewer's like behind a curtain, you can't see him, and he's just like trying to hit you with the hardest questions to try to get you to cry, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know much to cry about. I don't know. Like, I don't know what you're trying to get out of me. I'm like, I'm pretty chill. And so it's just kind of funny. Even like when I had my audition, they really, really prepare you. So you're there for like a month, and they're like, we have to like hammer in this preparation, because as much as you think you're going to be present, they said like 95% of the people black out when they're on stage, because it's just such a big, intense experience.
Yeah.
I knew that I wouldn't, but I was like, oh my God, am I going to? Like, they really think I'm going to. So I didn't, but I don't know, my mindset is a lot more like, they're just people. Like, yes, they're, celebrities, I guess, whatever that means, but they're just doing what I'm doing on a much larger scale and have a lot more experience. Like, they're just humans sitting in a really large chair. So it wasn't like that crazy. I mean, it was like, I don't really get nervous. I just get a lot of energy rushing in, like we're standing behind these big doors with a V, and then you hear the producer, they're like, okay, go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
right. And so I'm like getting ready. And then I'm like, my energy's rushing. And then they're like, okay. Oh, wait, Blake has to pee. So I had to wait there like 10 minutes for Blake Shelton to go pee. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm not nervous, but I'm like buzzing with energy. Like, I'm ready to go. So finally I get to go and sing my song. And it was amazing. It was awesome. But at the end of it, anyways, I remember Blake Shelton, he goes, oh, hello, like, you just made it on The Freaking Voice, like, aren't you out of your mind excited? I'm just like, yeah, baby. I remember, I don't even know what comes out of my mouth, but I remember that was like my slogan in my hometown for a while. It was just like, yeah, baby, because that was my response to him for some reason. It was just like, like, yeah.
You end up were you on Kelly? You're on Kelly's team, is that right?
Yeah, I was on Kelly's team. Nick Jonas turned around, and then Kelly turned around at the last couple seconds of the song, like the very last possible second.
Yeah.
And I kind of already had it in my mind that I wanted to be on her team if she chose me.
Yeah, I would too.
And yeah, she was really cool, down to earth. We have similar vocal styles, and just like she came from
she's lived the reality thing
show.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's just a powerhouse. In retrospect, maybe I should have picked Nick Jonas just because he would have maybe brought me further, but that wasn't even my intention to get very far. So it all was great. Now I have a dope jacket that I never wear that says Team Kelly on it. It's like, why would I ever wear that in public? What a douchebag move,
I bet they're like
Kelly.
super stoked at the PR team with all these guys with ponytails and suits are like, yeah, if they're gonna love this jacket.
Yeah, well, I do love it, but it's like, when could I wear that where it's not like such just
wanky.
Yeah. The only time I've ever worn it was to my viewing party. I had my local kind of hometown pub. They shut down for me and all my friends and family, and we put my audition up on the screen. And so when it came live on TV, and that was super fun, but that's the only time I've worn it. I wore my Team Kelly jacket to that party.
Out of the songs you performed on The Voice, which one is your favorite?
Hard to say, because they were all so different.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, Black Hole Sun was my personal best vocal performance. Like I had never sang that my range like that. I've never sang like that before. Since then, I've gotten way better since that performance. And when I look back, it's almost a little cringy to me now because I have a band that's like purely in that style. So my voice has really gotten conditioned. But at that time, I was super stoked on that. I loved Dreams because that was a really fun experience and a really good duet. But honestly, the song that sticks the most is Zombie. Like almost every show that I play, which is a lot of shows, I get play Zombie. Like that's like the play Freebird or whatever. That's my play Freebird is play Zombie. So that is probably that's kind of become my song, honestly. And my band Eden recorded it recently.
We got to play it. I played Black Hole Sun on one of the other shows, I think, during the week. I was on one of the shows I played it. So let's put it on the background here. We got to see some of it.
Sure.
Oops. There we go. We'll leave our mics open.
Cool song.
The violence caused such silence. Who are we mistaken? But you see, it's not me, it's not my
Boom!
In your head, they are fighting with the tanks in their bombs, in their bombs, in their guns. In your head, they are crying. In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head?
Here comes Kelly. Come on, Kelly.
Another mother's breaking, heart
Here goes
is
Kelly.
taken on.
Last minute.
Oh, where are we? I've hit the wrong button. We've lost Savannah. We'll see if we can get her back. Hey, she's back. Yay, she's back. Perfect timing.
I
Helen
watched the whole thing, you know. My song was just too powerful for the internet.
knocked you offline. How incredible. Now, I want to ask, like, do they dress you as well?
Do you really think I would pick that outfit?
See, out of all the outfits, I reckon that was probably the closest to you. Like, they seem to get a bit wild. The boots in one of the other ones was like full on, those big boots.
Oh yeah, when I got on that show, I hadn't worn makeup in 10 years. I've never worn heels.
Right.
I didn't even know how to walk in heels, but you weren't allowed to not wear heels.
Right.
And you had to wear makeup. So I had to learn to walk in heels, and they take you into wardrobe rooms and they curate it like to your style. You kind of give them a style board, and you are kind of you're doing it with them, but they're kind of dressing you, and they, you pick 4 different outfits, and then they send those to the higher up people, and then I don't know, some big producers end up picking your outfits. But that first outfit I thought was like a throwaway outfit, because my other outfits and that could have been were like way bomb. They were like good outfits.
Right.
And when I got that in the email that I was wearing that, I remember I was like, I like almost cried, because I was like, I look like a freaking popcorn salesman. I have like these sleeves, like a necktie. I was like, what the hell? I would never wear that. But the boots, that was like, we saw those because she was like, oh my God, what about these? There's black suns, like Black Hole Sun. And I was like,
yeah.
You know what? Gone this far trying new stuff. I said, fuck it, let's do it. And those boots, you can watch the performance. I did not move because if I tried to walk in those, I was afraid that I would literally fall on my face.
Yeah.
Those boots are up to like my crotch.
Look at them. They are huge. Look at them. I used to work as a dominatrix in my past life, and even I wouldn't.
Those are dominatrix boots.
They are. They're stripper boots so much. I was like, when I first saw this clip, I'm like, holy hell, that just doesn't seem like you. But yeah.
I was so surprised that they actually went for it because it's kind of a very family-friendly show, and that was the outfit the producers picked. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I had to practice day and night walking up and down my hotel room hallway because those heels were so effing tall, and I'm like just walking like a mannequin. I'm like, oh my god.
heel toe.
Yeah, holy cow. So I didn't do a whole lot of moving during the performance and fear of falling on my face.
Well, the performance is rad as well, so it's one of my favorite songs, and you crushed it. So wow.
Thank you.
And you know, I think a lot of people, like the reason I'm asking so much about this is I think a lot of young artists see these shows and see American Idol and, you know, think, oh, this is going to be my ticket to stardom. And American Idol, especially, and Australian Idol and UK Idol, all these things. It's really sad when I watch that because they seem to, during the auditions, they seem to just focus more on the people that aren't so talented and just shit all over them. And it's really sad because, like, you know, we live in a world where our closest friends say, you're really good, you're really good, you're really good. And sometimes people aren't so really good. And then they, because they've been mollycoddled into that belief, they get up there, perform in front of these people and get totally crushed. And then it's used as fodder for so much, especially the Idol shows, I think, where the voice is completely different. It's a celebration of vocalists, you know.
Yeah, that's why I picked The Voice to do. Not that I was like looking to do one of them, but I really don't like that, making fun of somebody and using somebody's, you know, lack of talent for ratings. I really never liked that because I kind of grew up watching American Idol with my family and The Voice and stuff. And I actually recently, because I love competition settings. I used to do a lot of sports, and I actually love the vocal competition setting. And like people are always like, oh my God, do American Idol. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be seen as like the talent show girl. But recently I'm like, well, fuck it. Like, I'll just look into it. And I looked into it the other day, and guess what? I'm too old for American Idol.
Yeah, it's 30. It's 30, isn't it?
I'm like, I'm not even, I turned 30 in like a few months, and I went to just like put in my info just to like, you know, see what would happen or something. And it was like, oh, you are too old. And I'm like, wait, what?
I know,
I remember watching it, and there was a guy named Taylor Hicks, if anybody remembers that. And I remember watching it, and I was like, this dude is so old, you know, and he kind of had like some gray hair. And at that time, I thought he was just so freaking ancient. And come to find out, he was 30 years old. He turned 30 on the show. I'm like,
yeah,
that's me now.
Yeah, it's so strange. They put an age on it. Like, you know,
they want like, you know, young stars. They want to catch them before anybody else does, which I get, but
and mold them a little bit. But yeah, I always found Idol an odd thing because, you know, they spend so much time through the entire series going, pick a song, or they pick you a song, they give you a selection, you know, and then you get up and sing it, and then they go, great song, but we're not seeing you through the other person's song that you're singing. And then finally, the ones who end up winning and getting towards the end, you know, they start punching their fists and going, yes, we're finally seeing you. And then whoever wins gets to record an album of songs written by somebody else who has no idea who this person is, who's finally found themselves. What?
Yeah, I know. Super strange. Like the, I don't know if they changed it. No, I think it's maybe, I think American Idol changed it to where you can do original songs, or maybe I'm thinking of America's Got Talent. That you can do your original songs now.
Yeah, I think you can now with Idol as well. I'm just saying at the end, you win this album of going to a studio of songs that are written for you. Like, that's the prize,
Yeah,
I think. And then your second
kinda
album, you
silly.
get to do something. I think it's how it works. I don't know. I've stopped watching that kind of stuff, but
Yeah, I don't watch it either. But that was kind of, even with The Voice, it's like we had like music lawyers, and even they said like winning is second place. Into a
Totally.
pretty shitty contract, honestly, and I wasn't in it for that. It's very rare that you kind of, it doesn't make an artist. Sometimes American Idol can, but I don't know anybody who's like made it from The Voice. But it is a really nice accolade. It's a really great thing to put on my resume.
100%, 100%, absolutely. I want to thank Rise of Dark Leela, who sent a super chat through, and Robert Redmond's Clip Channel. Thank you very much for the super chats. You rock. Let's play another one of your original songs. This is Back to Me. Now, this is on your latest album, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
My latest album, the title track of it.
Absolutely. Let's play this, and we'll be back shortly, my friends. So this is Back to Me. Just to make sure I've got it all queued up and look professional here in my home. All right, let's go. We'll see you back here shortly, everybody. This is Back to Me, Savanna Woods. Boom.
Sparrow speaks ever so sweetly. Do you ever listen to what they say? Tide moves in ever so slowly. Do you ever wonder where it's been? From glaciers and mountains, rivers and streams to the sea, always comes back to me. 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 A fork in the road, take a new path just to see. Oh, but every road which leads back to me. Sparrow speaks ever so sweetly. Do you ever listen to what they say? Singing tales of a land that I made just for me. Oh, from glaciers and mountains, rivers and streams to the sea. Ooh, they speak to me.
Damn. It's funny, earlier you said that your voice sounds like a mix of all these artists, and I've been listening to you for quite a few years now, and I, as soon as I hear your voice, I know it's you. Like, I don't think you sound like you 100%. There's that the falsetto you go into, which is really characteristically you. Every time I hear it, I just know it's you. You know, the way I fall in love with music is by this. You know, if it makes my skin move, and you can see it, it's happening. So, and it's why I like Counting Crows. And there's so many artists I love that I listen to, and I just sit there and turn into a puddle. And that is how I judge good music. So that's me. And I know a lot of people here are enjoying it as well. Russ has got a question. He's thrown up. Does Savanna run her own production team and control her own music?
Yeah, pretty much. That last album was recorded by one of my very good friends, Andrew Sweeting, Dr. Sweet's Music online. And yeah, so it's all my own music. All of the players and the songs that you heard are people who play with me. I kind of have a crew of musicians that I have play with me for different shows. And so I, had, I think, cellist, violin, piano, electric guitar. I know all of them. They're all really good friends on my team, making this happen. And that was actually Andrew's first album that he ever recorded and produced. And he did a fantastic job. He did such a great job on that album. So that's called Back to Me. And there's 8 songs on there. And I know we talked a lot about healing, but that album is a lot about that coming back to yourself. That album was kind of songs written in the last, I don't know, 7 years or so, but all just processing different aspects of healing and coming back to yourself.
Yeah. It's a beautiful album. I do encourage you all to go grab it. Is it on Bandcamp as well?
Thank you. Yeah, I think recently I got that album onto Bandcamp.
Good, because we love Bandcamp here in this community, because you actually make money from it.
Yeah.
a lot more than streaming. Look,
for sure.
Yeah, and so you are a part of. You said you've got this band Eden as well. I'll ask you about that. But you got your hand in a few other projects. Is there a whole group of things that you're doing? Tell us about Eden and anything else that you've got going on that you have your wonderful voice involved in.
Yeah, I'm involved in a lot just because this is my full-time thing and I like to do it all. So what you've heard so far today is kind of just stuff under my name, Savanna Woods. It's a little bit more of the singer-songwriter vibe. I also have a group, Eden, which you see there. And Eden is actually my middle name. And that is, And I'm wearing the hoodie as well. That is kind of more of we're like kind of rock, blues, pop band. That's my like big high energy performing band. I perform a lot of Savanna Woods like all around, but for the big summer festivals and stuff, the huge stages, I'm with Eden for those. And that's so much fun. It's just another aspect of my voice. And actually our debut album that we released last summer, it does have one cover, which is Zombie. So I do have a version of Zombie out there you can listen to. And so there's Eden. That's that aspect of my voice. I have another project, another band called the Out of Towners. And that is, oh yeah, that was a beautiful show. That's in Washington. The Out of Towners is more jazz rock fusion, with like saxophone, piano, and all that stuff. And we just released 3 singles this year. And that's pretty much it. So I have like 3 groups. Under Savanna Woods, I play with a lot of different players. Eden's really fun. The guitarist is amazing. His name's Aaron Hebert, and he can just rip solos, behind his head and stuff. It's just wild. That's a really fun, just really good, high energy experience to perform with them. It's so much fun. But a little bit more electric than, my mellow singer-songwriter. But we do like a version of Tame the Dark, which we heard earlier today. That's also on our last album. And we even do like a version of a Waking Maya song that I wrote like a decade ago. Yeah, that's London Town. I miss your touch and your sharp eyes. I know you're patient, but that's not me. I need you now among the trees. Damn. So you're going to have to check out. You've got lots of homework to do, everybody, because there's lots of music to check out. So has being on The Voice helped with like being able to network and find other musicians? Because I would expect being a vocalist should be in a bit of demand to sing for people. And has it helped you meet some really interesting, good musicians? Because normally that happens. Yeah. It's definitely been good for networking. I mean, I've met a lot of people just because it gave me so much online exposure, a lot more online followings. And one example of that is I am actually in July. I think it's July, not June. Yeah, in early July, I'm releasing a rap collaboration track. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. If you're on my Patreon, they've already heard it. I do my early releases on Patreon, but the whole world has heard none of it yet. And that was a song. I just love all the genres. So I wrote the song, I wrote the hook, and I do some kind of sing rappy verses. And then this was a rapper from the East Coast. His name's Jackson Whalen, a really talented rapper. He's kind of a more light rapper, like not rapping about, I'm not going to say all the things right now because I don't know how censored I have to be.
You can say whatever you want on this show. We say the C word on this show. It's terrible.
Okay, good to know. So he's just a wonderful rapper, like a healing oriented rapper. I really like his stuff. He's wonderful. So Jackson Whalen, you can look him up. He's a big, he has a big online following and a lot of tracks out, but we are putting out a rap collaboration track, and he found me through The Voice. And I mean, I met a lot of people. That was kind of the point of the whole thing, was exposure, and it really worked.
Yeah, clearly. So let's talk about recording, and you know what? I want to play a couple more songs. Is it all right if we go 10 minutes over? Is that all right? Yeah. Because I want to play some Out of Towners. Let's do this. We'll throw it up here now because you mentioned it. We've played a bit of everything. I want everyone to have a sample plate. That's what this is. It's a Whitman sample plate of chocolate delights of music. So let's throw this up. This is called Already Gone. I'll make sure it's muted. We'll play this, and then we'll come back and talk about the recording process, how you go about all that, and then we'll get out of here for the day, if that's all good. Let's do this. This is Already Gone from the Out of Towners. Boom.
Had me drunk on pretty words, had me questioning my worth, but that's on me. Follow the feeling, but not farther into tears. Gotta love me, love me. You say it's dark and here, well, I will be your light. Let me be your light. Darkness surrounds you, well, baby, listen here. So does light. So does light. The reason I held on is the reason I'm already gone. Already gone. I've got to be strong now, 'cause we're just too far gone. I'm gone. You've been unleashing something in me. Feels so wild and so free. It feels so me. Sign on the dotted line, but you forgot your pen. Can't seem to find it. I hope you find it. When will you see that what you're losing is the chance to make a change? Make a change. You say you're darkness, well, baby, listen here. You are light. You are light. The reason I held on is the reason I'm already gone. I've got to be strong now, 'cause I can't forget about me. Don't forget about me. Listen, listen to the voices all around you. Listen, listen to the voices deep within you. Listen, listen to the voices all around you. Listen, listen to the voices deep within you. Listen, listen to the voices all around you. Listen, listen to the voices deep within you. It doesn't feel right when I'm lying here without you. It's not fair that the stars and moon can see you when I'm here. When I'm here. When I'm here. The reason I held on is the reason I'm already gone.
Fuck me drunk sideways. such versatility. You know, I had to
Thank you.
put that in there as well, just to really drive home that exclamation point of versatility. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So when you're
Thank you.
putting together an album, obviously you're writing songs constantly, you're writing on tour. Do you have your own setup there, your own home studio that you workshop stuff and do demos before you hit a studio? Do you go to a studio? What's the process for you to put out an album?
I just have so many dang songs, and different songs go different places. Like I wrote that song in Ireland a year and a half ago, and I brought it home to my jazz band, and I actually do another version of that song with Eden, a more rockin', just a different version. So I have multiple versions of different songs. I don't do really demos. I do have a little home studio set up, like right above I've got like a mic and interface, and I do home recordings. This year I'm going to be putting a lot of more acoustic-y kind of home self-recorded songs out. I started the first of the year putting out a single called Dancing in the Sky. I didn't record or write that song. That's a cover, asked to do it by like a family member for a Christmas gift for a grieving family member. So I've been asked to sing that song a bunch for different people, so I decided to just release it to the public, and that kind of spurred I have a couple more songs in the works, so I'm going to be releasing singles that I'm doing myself in my house. But no, I don't. I bring the song to the band, or if I play so often that they might hear it, and like Eden, like they heard like on my Rose Colored Daggers album, it's just like an acoustic album. You know, they heard one of the songs, Quiet City, and they're like, oh my gosh, we love that song, let's make a version of it, you know. And so like Eden doesn't just do the rockin'. I love writing a song and having it be done so many different ways. That's so fun for me. Some people like, you know, want it one way, or, you know, really stuck to the, you know, way that they wrote it. And I'm like, no, please, like the song came out of me, and now let's, you know, see how it flies in many different ways. So I don't really have one specific way I do things, because I have so many projects. They're all differently. Like the Out of Towners was recorded in a studio about an hour away from here called Alpenglow. That was not done by my friend Andrew. That was different. And so the process with them is just, we basically just practice, get the songs tight, and go into the studio and record them. Eden's album was self-produced. We did all of those recordings ourselves. I recorded my vocals with my friend Andrew, and then the rest was done. My drummer of the band home recorded the rest of it and produced it himself. So everything's different. I have no one way to do anything. I am a charcuterie board of music.
And you know what? Don't change it, because you're doing it right.
Oh, I love it. It's the only way I can feel fulfilled. I got to do everything.
Yeah. Now, so you got back from the UK. We're going to wrap this up. You got back from the UK. You just did a tour there. Now, you are about to go out. You've already done some shows since you've been back in the US. Tell us where you're heading. I'll put these dates up here. Where you're heading in the US. So you've got shows coming up without Eden, and then shows with Eden as well.
Yeah, I link my bands in town. That's why I kind of have Without Eden and Eden. So the Eden shows are a lot of the shows we have. I'm basically full-time in Washington. So from now until September, I'm pretty much booked solid already. I don't have everything online yet, but a lot of my Eden shows are up. But I'm going to be gigging, you know, I gig 3 to 7 times a week through September. So I hit the ground from the UK, and then I had 4 shows in a row, and I took this weekend off. So I have like 8 days without any performances, which is wonderful. I can catch up on my life, and then I start back at it next Wednesday. So everywhere is around Washington.
Yep.
You know, I have upcoming like Mukilteo, Bellevue, Seattle, Bellingham, like all around Washington. I drive a lot. We do stuff on the east side of Washington. Pretty much all of my stuff is every corner of Washington. I'm not leaving. Until, because the weather here is just absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Like June to September. So they're all beautiful outdoor shows. I just love it. And then the next time I'm probably going to be, like I said, in October and November, leaving the country and probably doing like UK, Spain, Iceland. And then in the wintertime, I always go tour to Arizona and get warm and who knows, go to warm places. But so for now, I'm all around Washington all week, every week, for the most part until about the fall. Then I'll ditch town again and go gig somewhere else.
Washington peeps, get your ass to a show. And we didn't really talk much about this, but your sisters, you sing with your sisters as well too, and they're incredible singers as well, aren't they? They're just...
Yeah.
Do you ever do any shows with them?
Funny you ask, because I am tomorrow, actually. We used to have kind of a group, the Wood Sisters, and gig more together, but we needed some time to do our own thing.
Yep.
For a while. Working with family can, be a mixed bag. I love them, and it's really fun to sing with them. So this weekend I took the weekend off, but really I never get time off because I'm self-employed. I'm always on the job. So I'm going over the mountains to relax in Chelan, which is our wine country, but I'm gonna to drink some wine, and I'm gonna end up, I know, singing on her show with her. So they're kind of marketing it as the Wood Sisters shows this weekend. So tomorrow I'll be singing at a winery with my sisters.
Hey.
We were just laughing about how we're basically interchangeable because they were sending me the screenshot of them promoting. It's really my sister's show, Ireland, wonderful singer. And all of the things describing her, it's like, you might remember her from The Voice and like all this stuff. And it's just, we laugh because it's like the public might not realize, but we are separate people. So that'll be fun. I do love singing with them. So tomorrow I will be with them, but regularly, no. We have one more show booked this summer. But they all gig separately. They have bands, and we commingle as we can.
Awesome. So look, folks, if you want to find out more, this is Savanna's website, savannahwoodsmusic.com. You can find out, listen to her music, bookings. You can do all that kind of stuff. She's got a store. I'm sure you can get through to her Patreon as well. She's got merch. She's got everything going for us. So get over there and support her in what she does because she's super talented. And we've been very lucky to have you here on the show with us today. I've got my two final questions that I throw at everybody, and then we're going to go out with the wonderful song I've picked for last. Savanna Woods, if you were stuck on a desert island and you didn't have a volleyball to talk to, which album would you take with you that you probably couldn't play because you wouldn't have anything to play it on?
Somebody else's album.
Yeah. Could be lonely without Nelson to talk to.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it's hard to just pick one.
I know. It sucks.
I really love the album. Robert Plant and Alison Krauss have an album called Raising Sand.
Oh, wow.
I love that.
That's a good album.
Yeah, it's a really good album. I remember my dad turned me on to that album, and that's kind of a fun one. Kind of gets you in a good mood, and I love that style of music. It's hard to just pick one, but maybe I would say that. you would
need something to pick you up, I think.
I think so.
Desert Island's nice to look at, but after a few days without a cocktail, it probably suck. And food.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I am.
And the last question I ask everybody who comes on the show, if you were going to give advice to somebody starting out making music, being creative, following their passions, when would be the best time for them to start?
Right now. Like,
boom.
Right now. You don't wait until you're ready. You'll never be ready. You start when you're not ready, and you do what makes you uncomfortable until it's comfortable. And you don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle happens. So you start now, and you just keep showing up every single day, every single day,
100%.
every single day. And then something will happen. And be adaptable. It's just like commitment, adaptability, showing up, committing to yourself. And there's never a right time. Literally start yesterday.
It's an easy one, isn't it? That one. Everyone says the same answer, and it's there for a reason to drive home to people. Just do it. Just get it done. You know.
Just do it.
Yep.
Nike got it. Literally, just
Yeah.
get her done.
Just tick it.
Just take one step. There's the saying, how does a mouse eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Just take one little bite, one little step every day.
Absolutely.
Do something.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for spending so much time. You know, it's a lot to ask someone to come on and spend, 2 hours talking about yourself. But we are musicians.
Thanks for having me.
And narcissists at the end of the day. But no, this has been really, really good. And, you know, we've been putting this in the works for a little while now. So I thank you for giving me the time to come on here and share your music with everybody that I've been in love with for ages. Folks,
thank you so much.
All of the links to Savanna's music is in the description. There's Patreon, there's all the links to everything. You can find it all there. So go and do the things. Subscribe to her. Hit her up on Patreon, all that. Buy her music, do all that kind of stuff. It would be much appreciated. Yay. Please stay on the line with me just after the show ends so I can say goodbye to you off the air. Now, I'll just quickly cover what's happening here on the channel, folks, over the next few days because we've got a lot of stuff coming up. Tonight, probably in about 12 hours' time, I'm doing an impromptu live stream continuing on my new album where we're creating an album from one song, and every song, it's a variation of that song, and it's a story about somebody who suffers from a mental illness and gets put in a mental institution. By the end, the first song is all broken down and destroyed. So come and join me for that. We're going to be continuing on working on this song here. What else is happening? Tomorrow we're taking a look at a brand new app. It is an app that allows you to make music with Chinese percussive instruments on your iPad. So that's really cool. It's a super cheap app. We're also doing a show here. I'm not exactly sure when, but we're going to be taking a look at the new stem splitting thing in Logic Pro, which is just released with Logic Pro. On the weekend, my friends, the opening hour, I do a live performance here every Saturday evening. In the US and UK, I'm doing a special show this week where I'm going to be covering a whole bunch of Mr. Bungle songs, Mike Patton songs. So that's going to be off the wall. It'll probably ruin all your brains. And to round out the opening this week's shows will be, the rant is on, if I can find it, updates. So we're going to be talking about updates. The way how people expect everything for free once they buy it. And then developers go hungry because everybody just wants free updates. So we'll talk about that on the rant this week. Boom, all the advertising's done. Thank you all for being here in the chat. You guys rock, throwing emojis, lovely comments. Thanks to my moderators for slinging links all the way through the show. Thank you to those who sent super chats through. And Mr. Smith, I forgot to mention you for the gifted membership. Thank you to DistroKid who sponsors the show. We love you, DistroKid. Remember, use the code if you want to sign up. And I think I've covered everything. I've done all the things. So we can go out today with this version of One More Time Around by Savanna Woods. Please tell us about this wonderful rendition that is here I found on YouTube of this song.
This is a live performance video I did in a friend's barn that's over 100 years old, and this is with my piano player Andrea Fountain and my cello player Mandy Wida, and Andrew Sweeting, my producer, did the videoing and the editing, and so you can find the song online everywhere. I wrote the song for myself for my birthday a few years ago, reflecting on the year prior and just the things that I had learned and the things that I had went through and the ways that I had grown. So this is One More Time Around.
Stunning. All right, let's play it. I'll speak to you once we go off the air, so please hang on. And thank you, everybody. Let's do this one more time by Savanna Woods. You are going to love this. It is absolutely beautiful. Remember, folks, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together. Stay awake. Let's Oge. This is One More Time Around.
saw a mountain over there, and I thought, hey, I'd like to taste the air of the wildflowers, of the rocks, of the grass way at the top. And I thought, hey, I'd like to stand up there. So I started on my journey, took one step then the next, and I saw where I wanted to be. I was headed west, always for the next best, so I stopped a while under the trees. And that's when life began to sing to me. Be wise, says the owl, be honest in your knowing, be faithful, says the rabbit, you're loving and you're growing. Be light as a feather upon the wind that's blowing, and bend like a snake who sees what you are showing. Oh, sees what you aren't showing. Then I saw in my rear view mirror, when I woke the message couldn't be more clear. But I know that objects, they are closer than they appear. The fog's starting to clear. I was turned upside down, ripped open wide, and I've spilled everything to show me what's inside. I've fallen down, oh man, how I've fallen. But I got up every time, just looking for a sign. Be wise, says the owl, be honest in your knowing, be faithful, says the rabbit, you're loving and you're growing. Be light as a feather upon the wind that's blowing, and bend like a snake who sees what you aren't showing. Oh, what aren't you showing? So, how about a song for one more time around the sun? I've come so far on a journey just begun. I've taken down my own trespassing sign, and I learned that all good things worth having, they take time and patience, love and care and freedom, trust in the design. Most of all, that it's okay to not be fine. Oh, it's okay to not be fine. So I started